Okay, let's go live now to Sydney for the latest on the Bondi Terror Attack. We're joined by Channel 10's Emma Olsen. Emma, there were 42 people injured in hospital yesterday. What update can you give us on their status at the moment?
Good morning, Mike. That's right. 42 were in hospital yesterday morning, but in the latest New South Wales health figures that we received late last night, the number has now dropped to 26. 8 people are in a critical condition. 4 are in a critical but stable condition, including 2 police officers, and 14 are in a stable condition. Health authorities, they say that throughout the day they expect more people to be able to leave hospital as frontline workers are doing their best to send loved ones home.
Okay, and what more can you tell us about the terrorists? It sounds like at least one of them was known to intelligence agencies back in 2019.
So obviously we know that it's a father and son duo. There was 50-year-old Saheed Akram and his 24-year-old son Naveed. Saheed, he actually came to Australia in 1998 on a student visa. We know that he held a guns license for recreational hunting and was also part of how he had access to the long shotguns that they used during the shooting. We know that his son was brought to the attention of police in 2019. However, after assessment, they decided he actually wasn't a threat to the public, so he essentially wasn't on the police radar anymore. We know that both men had reportedly pledged allegiance to the Islamic State group, and flags were found in their car after the shooting. Yesterday, the son's mother, she came out saying that he is actually a good boy. However, it's also come out that he had lied to her. As you mentioned earlier, Mike, she had been told that they were going away on a fishing trip for the weekend in Jervis Bay, when really they'd hired a Airbnb, which is where they plotted the shooting. So since all of this, the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, he's come out and he's wanting to crack down on our gun laws and make them even stricter.
Yeah, and we know Ahmed Al-Ahmed, the man who heroically tackled one of the terrorists, I mean, he's got that fundraiser set up and that is attracting huge support, right?
It sure is. He currently remains in hospital. He received gunshot wounds to his arm and has been through multiple surgeries already. It came out yesterday from his family, as you just heard from, that they actually do have fears for his recovery, as it will be a lengthy one. Our Premier Chris Minns, he also met with Ahmed yesterday, but a Jewish billionaire, he's come out wanting to show his support for the hero, and he wanted to set up a Give a Little page where he donated $100,000 just himself. And within the time of Ahmed being in hospital, that has already surpassed $1 million. So it'll be very deserving to him when he does get to leave hospital.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you mentioned the gun laws. What precisely is being proposed here? Because Australia already has fairly strict laws, right?
They do have strict laws. It's very similar to New Zealand. The exact gun laws that will be coming out is unclear at this stage. It's just discussions from what was released in a statement yesterday. So over time, I think the government will be being more specific in what they want that to look like. But at the moment, it's just discussions.
Yeah, okay, well, a lot more to come on that. So I just want to touch on the fact that, you know, in New Zealand, our authorities here have noted a spike in anti-Jewish rhetoric online since the Israel-Gaza conflict erupted. Tell us about the divide in Australia in the lead up to this attack.
Well, within the last couple of years, anti-Semitic attacks on the Jewish community has been rife in the community. I mean, Jewish restaurants and synagogues, they've been targeted by fire bombings. There's been graffiti on these buildings with Nazi symbols. Even Jewish schools around the community, they've had heightened security with guards and tall gates and fences, which make them look like a jail from the outside. You know, the Jewish community, they basically live their lives in fear because it seems as though there's a new attack every couple of weeks. And the Jewish community actually conceded yesterday that they saw these attacks coming. So now questions are being raised around the Australian security levels and questions around whether or not there may be a civil arrest coming.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, you know, how are Aussies responding to this in the aftermath?
Well, the Australian community, it's a strong one. Vigils have been held in Sydney and Melbourne for people to mourn the loss of the 15 people in the shooting. Thousands gathered yesterday at the Bondi tribute, where they all brought flower bouquets. I mean, there was a sea of beautiful flowers outside the Bondi Pavilion, and people came along to sing songs and just be there for one another. We also saw blood supplies dwindle in Australia because of the large number of people, of victims rather, who were in hospital. And so Bloodline, they started urging people to donate blood yesterday morning. And Aussies really pulled their sleeves. By 3 p.m, all donor centres in Sydney had reached capacity and people started being turned away. I mean, there were lines stretching 400 metres out the door. It wasn't just Sydney either. People interstate were also donating blood to send to Sydney. So despite the horrible circumstances, it just shows that the Australian community is strong and they will show their support in times of need.
Fantastic. We really appreciate your insights and reporting this morning. That is Emma Olsen, Channel 10 reporter. Thanks very much for your time on Herald Now.